Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Co Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic Friday, wherever you are around the world. Hope everyone's well. Hope everyone's having a good start to the weekend. Of course, it is a long weekend. Yet again, it is a bank holiday weekend. Once again, of course, obviously, the last bank holiday weekend, of course, it was a very good weekend for Liverpool Football Club. Of course, getting, of course, named Premier League champions and all of that good stuff, of course. Anyway, but again, let me know how all of you are in the comments down below, of course, because look, even though Liverpool are Premier League champions, and look, there isn't really anything to play for now in terms of, again, in terms of being crowned champions. Again, we do have 4 very tough games coming up at the end of the season, of course, beginning with Chelsea, which, of course, they do have a lot to still play for, considering, again, obviously Champions League is now a top 5 scenario where, again, you look at that race and it is very, very close. Even looking at it now, from 3rd to 6th, there's only 4 points in it. So, again, when you look at it like that, you think, wow, it is a weird season when we talk about, again, the quality level between the top 5, 6, or 7. It is very, very close as of things right now. Anyway, but big up Doug as well. Hopefully doing well. Saying congrats on 3K. Thank you very much for me. Very much appreciated. Yeah, it's been a mad week. Let's just say that again. Anyway, but team news will be very intriguing. I wonder how many changes will be made. We'll mention that a bit later on, of course, anyway. But big up John as well, saying, hi, Con, thoughts on Morgan Rogers and would be a great signing for us, in your opinion? I think Morgan Rogers would be a good signing for Liverpool. I think, look, I've not seen too much on him, and look, I'm not going to, apart from watching the odd Villa game now and again, and of course in the Champions League, of course I've watched that much of them. I'm not going to sit here and watch, say I watch Morgan Rogers week in, week out, because that that'll be a lie completely. But from the small sample size, he does look to be a very good player. But I don't know. I feel like obviously the reports that came out, obviously we talked about it, didn't we, a couple of days ago. I do think it's a bit of a smokescreen for potentially somebody else. But again, I think obviously a lot of Premier League clubs will be massively interested if a Morgan Rogers was to become available, in terms of, again, homegrown, the player's age, the profile of the player as well. Again, it would fit a lot of teams, I think, and I think plenty of Premier League teams would be interested in, including Chelsea and Liverpool. I think obviously Chelsea, over the last couple of years, of course, I've looked at wingers, or, kind of like that, that 10 position. Of course, they already have a bunch of players like that, for example, like Cole Palmer, as well this season, and other positions as well. But again, with them rotating out as well, wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea's name become a part of the conversation, really, in that regard anyway. But like we did say, of course, Doug mentioned it a bit earlier on, of course, and we will talk later on about, of course, Arne Slot's press conference. But the one thing I want to talk about mainly, of course, at the start of the show, is a guard of honour. Of course, it is confirmed that Liverpool will have one, of course, obviously against Chelsea. But I think it's also being confirmed as well that the Arsenal one will also be confirmed. But there hasn't been any confirmation of whether or not it's going to pass over to Brighton and to obviously Palace. But again, I think obviously the more satisfying ones, of course, is Chelsea and Arsenal. I think obviously Chelsea for, I think, different reasons compared to Arsenal. I think obviously Chelsea, the whole Caicedo Lavia drama that was obviously on social media, and of course, in terms of the transfer race and business side of things, of course, obviously that caused a lot of uproar and I think rivalry really between the both clubs, and then of course obviously Arsenal, I think obviously more as of late, of course, considering I think that's more of not an online thing, but I do think it is more of a fan thing than a club thing, really, because again, obviously Arsenal fans in particular have screamed that, if Arsenal are going to be the guys to, or if City, sorry, were going to be the team to drop off, then obviously Arsenal would come along and win the Premier League and, that hasn't happened at all. Like Liverpool have actually walked this Premier League title, and look, we've done it pretty much easily, haven't we? And that's no hardship, saying that really, to be fair either. But look, of course, it is confirmed that obviously I think Enzo Maresca mentioned that Liverpool will get a guard of honour from Chelsea, of course, and again, it's pretty much standard, really. But I am looking forward to watching Wataru Endo get a guard of honour off Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. That would be it would be funny as well. And of course, you can go back and have a look at the tweets from Arsenal fans and many other fans as well, in particular. Anyway, but I want to quickly talk about again, in terms of when we talk about Liverpool Chelsea. Obviously, earlier on in the season, Arne Slot was very vocal. Again today in his press conference was very vocal in terms of the quality of Chelsea, and of course, earlier on in the season he believed that Chelsea played us pretty well at Anfield, and probably deserved something from the game. And of course, he was kind of saying, he doesn't understand the league table really, considering, of course, every team we faced this season. You kind of look at it and go, how on earth are Chelsea around, the fourth or fifth spot? I think plenty of people potentially saw them as third early on in the season anyway. But taking a look at the league table right now, as you guys can see, but there again, of course, Liverpool on 82 points. Obviously, Man City are currently beating Wolves to a couple. I don't know what the scoreline in that one, to be fair. But again, you look at that top five. Forest, of course, last night losing to Brentford, which did shock a lot of people as well. But you look at that, Chelsea have to win. When we talk about Liverpool causing upsets. Now, of course, for our season, of course, we've gone on and won the Premier League. Our main objective from now into the end is, of course, to get as many points as we want and as many points as we, can really. And of course, the most Liverpool can get is 94 points. But even still, of course, Liverpool want to finish on the best way possible going into next season. And Chelsea, of course, you're looking at that league table right there. Of course, City, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Forest, and even potentially Villa if a lot of teams collapse really towards the end. Because again, you look at it. Again, Newcastle have got very tough games coming up. Chelsea as well. Also, I think pretty much everybody plays each other. I think City play Newcastle or Chelsea in that same period of time. I think, of course, there's other teams as well. I definitely know that Newcastle play Chelsea as well, which that will be huge towards the back end of the season anyway. So, like when we talk about, obviously, you look at other signings potentially in the summer. Of course, there could be a few that don't get Champions League. Look at Forest as well, that have been there the entire season and now out of it. Of course, I think it's the first time they've been out of the top four all season long, I think, if my memory is serving me correct. But even still, that's mad. The fact that, again, they were so comfortable and so ahead. But I think they've lost, as you guys can see there, from Forest, they've lost 3 out of their last 5 games, which isn't great, really. It's really not great, to be fair. But look, at the end of the day, for Liverpool and Chelsea, of course, Chelsea will want to win as much as possible. But on the Liverpool side of things, of course, when we talk about starting 11, of course, Arne Slot did say it, didn't he? He hinted that there will be changes for the last 4 games of the season. Now, who that is, we don't have a clue. But one thing he did say that I thought was kind of recognized was just the players that deserve minutes and the players that haven't necessarily gotten the minutes that they should have done this season. And of course, we haven't done that. Really, we haven't given them that opportunity to play. And I think when he talks about players like that, I think you're talking about Harvey Elliott. I think not necessarily Wataru Endo, but I do think maybe even Federico Chiesa getting a game now or 2. But I do certainly see like people like Harvey Elliott in that conversation, and potentially other people as well being brought into that conversation a lot more than than any other players in particular. But even again, could we be talking about defenders really? I think obviously Conor Bradley is another one that Arne Slot did talk about a little bit, in terms of, again, he's going to be in first team training again today. Hopefully, of course, he's going to have some minutes, in terms of Sunday as well. So it will be interesting to see, what does happen with Conor Bradley. I do think Trent will start on Sunday. I'm not going to lie. But I do think, obviously, with the likelihood that Trent is going to leave at the end of the season, I think obviously the more games as we go on, obviously, of course, Liverpool have got Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton, and Palace. I do think we will end up seeing Trent maybe being fizzled out, and obviously Conor Bradley starting, might even start against Arsenal, depending on the situation. But even still, I think Arne Slot is going to see now who he can trust for next season. And if he can't trust certain personnel, then they will be on the chopping block, really. But I do think it will be interesting to see what does happen anyway. But of course, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments if anybody's watching, of course. Anyway, but look, I do think it will be a close game between both teams. I think, again, starting 11 predictions, again, it could be anybody, couldn't it, really? But I do think it will be more or less the same team. I think, you're probably looking at Ali in goal, Trent, Kanate, Van Dijk, Tsimikas probably, Grav, Curtis Jones, and Harvey Elliott, and then Mo, Chiesa, and Gakpo. That's going to be the team for the weekend. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see who he does pick, because again, he was very open, wasn't he, Arne Slot, in terms of who, even he said, players that deserve minutes, and I kind of wonder who he's inclining towards that, whether that's Wataru Endo, Harvey Elliott, could even be Jarell Konsa potentially as well. But I think obviously the main aim from now until the end of the season is nobody getting injured. That's the the number one thing, and also it's the fact that, like I just said, in terms of seeing who can be trusted, I think that is the main aim from now until the end of the season. Anyway, but I'm gonna go Liverpool to win. I'm gonna go Liverpool 2-1 over Chelsea. I think it'll be I think it will be close. I don't think it's going to be, Liverpool just completely walk away with it. I think, of course, Liverpool heads might be on the beach a little bit, considering obviously last week. But it is now just even if Chelsea score, I think that the away end is going to be amazing from now until the end of the season. Because it is now just one celebration until the end, until the parade, and we get to see Liverpool lift the Premier League trophy, which will be even more special at the end of the season, considering what we've seen last week. It's probably going to even be bigger than what we saw last week at Anfield, and look, it's going to be a very, very special a day, of course, when the Palace game comes around. But even still, obviously the next month is just party month. And look, I think Liverpool will win, though. I think Liverpool will win 2-1. It'll be a tough game, obviously. It's Chelsea going for Champions League. But obviously they have played midweek as well. So there could be some fatigue there. But of course, Chelsea, pretty much played their B team, didn't they, against, in the Conference League. So realistically, I don't think anybody's going to be that bad for Chelsea, but even still, you never know. And again, if Liverpool, if Arne Slot, has put into the players that, look, we still, keep the same as we have done throughout the season in terms of the consistency, again, I'm pretty sure Liverpool will beat Chelsea either way anyway. But look, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. There is a Luis Diaz short as well on the channel as well, so you guys can go check that out. Of course, we spoke about should Luis Diaz get a new contract, because of course there's been a lot of conversation around it over the last day and a bit. Again, I think Luis Diaz will stay next season. Now, I think there was a lot of question marks around Saudi and around what Liverpool are planning to do for next season. I do think Liverpool might end up signing 2 strikers next season, rather than selling 1 striker and a potential left winger and then replacing the 2. I think Liverpool might end up replacing the striker position completely, potentially, or Liverpool are going to go full on for one striker and then keep someone else. So it will be interesting, though, to see what does happen in the summer in particular. Anyway, but again, that's all, of course, all the summer talk anyway. But I do think Lucho will will definitely sign a new contract. Or at least there'll be good conversations around it, because of course obviously all the rumors are that Liverpool are going to start talking to Lucho after the season ends, which again, like, I think that's natural. But of course obviously Liverpool's number one target to get re-signed is of course Ibu Kanate. That's the main aim, to get him re-signed. Anyway, but look, I'm going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you for everyone for tuning in to tonight's show. Apologies, it is a short show, but it is absolutely roasting in this room as well. So I do apologize for the short show as well. We will try and do something tomorrow as well. We'll do we'll do a video tomorrow, I think, for you guys, of course, and let me know your guys' thoughts, of course. Score predictions as well. Like I said, I think 2-1 Liverpool for me. Anyway, I think let's go Mo Salah to, is it equal the record tomorrow as well? If he used to score or assist, I think he equals Andy Cole's and Alan Shearer's records as well. So of course he'll be wanting to break that really than actually just match it. But again, I think he'll do that. And then of course for the second goal, let's go Federico Chiesa. Why not? It'd be amazing if that did actually happen. Anyway, but look, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your days. Anyway, if you are new around here, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow for another episode. But I've been Connor from the Cop Council. See you guys later. Ta-ra.